Hello and welcome to Galatta Plus. In this video review episode, we are going to be talking about Mahesh Narayanan's Patriot. This is a superb thriller and it's backed by superb filmmaking. The quick take, Mammootty takes on the system in a fast-paced and paranoid thriller. Mohanlal and a host of other stars join the ride. This is not a popcorn film, but it is a brilliant demonstration of craft and acting and storytelling around an issue. A longer review follows and it may contain spoilers.
Someone is helping him.
சத்யாவில் ஃபுல் மூன் சேல் காலை 9 மணியிலிருந்து இரவு 12 மணி வரை மே 1 ஒரு நாள் மட்டும்.
Plan your next summer escape with Grand Royal Tours.
சென்னை ஹீட்டா எஸ்கேப் பண்ணுங்க. சன்னை விட ஃபன் அதிகம். விஜிபி யுனிவர்சல் கிங்டம்க்கு வாங்க, ஃபன் பண்ணிட்டு போங்க.
Now when news came out that Mahesh Narayanan was going to make a big budget action thriller with Mammootty, Mohanlal, Kunjako Boban, Nayanthara, Fahad Fasil, Revati, Rajiv Menon, Darshana Rajendran, let me catch my breath here. Anyway, when this news came out, some of us wondered how this very detail-oriented, plot-oriented writer-director would handle a thriller which by its very nature is a little larger than life, at least in our cinema. But as it turns out, despite all these stars, the real star of Patriot is Mahesh Narayanan. Or to put it another way, despite all these stars, Mahesh Narayanan has ended up making what he always makes, a Mahesh Narayanan movie. Yes, in terms of writing, this film contains some of his broadest strokes yet, and that is only to be expected. With this galaxy of stars, some level of massness is inevitable, but the packaging is as classy as it can get. The first half is one long fuse, and the second half is one big explosion. Everything fits or everything comes together just so. The plot of Patriot is woven around the dangers of technology, basically spyware on phones and computers. And it's entirely apt at the very first time we see the protagonist Mammootty, it is on a display screen. He plays Danny, a cyber forensics expert who also knows a thing or two about fighter planes and also knows how to execute kick-ass action moves when cornered by bad guys. He is also separated from his wife. He is also an alcoholic. If you take all these details together, you get the building blocks for a flashy star performance, but the way this film is written, it is an accumulation of tiny details. We do get big moments, but they are backed by or they are built up to with a ton of micro details. For instance, there is a tense scene involving Danny and the characters played by Fahad Fasil and Kunjako Boban. It involves a fighter plane, and we think that it's just these three characters, that is Mammootty, Fahad Fasil and Kunjako Boban. But when the scene gets an echo later, this time with a gun replacing the plane, we realize that there's been a fourth character all along, even if this character did not appear in the flesh. This fourth character was the reason that the tense scene happened in the first place earlier, and it makes for a hell of a father-son dynamic that could have driven its own movie. Patriot does have mass scenes, watch out for the one involving blinking, but apart from the action blocks, these are not presented in a mass manner. There is no slow motion walking, there is no elevation music. Whatever the flavor of the scene, big or small, it fits organically into the overall design of the film. And what exactly is this design? Patriot is basically a message movie, the kind you'd find in Tamil and Telugu cinema, where the hero becomes a savior of his people. But it is stripped of sentimentality, and instead it is filled with the detailing and the flavor of the great Hollywood paranoia conspiracy thrillers of the 1970s. Films like The Conversation and The Parallax View and All the President's Men and 3 Days of the Condor. An action sequence set in a hospital seems inspired as much by The Godfather as Battleship Potemkin.
The next revolutionary service from Shakti Solutions, Samaj Seva.
The promo song we saw with Kunjako Boban and Darshana Rajendran is not a standalone feel-good moment in the movie, something to give the audience some breathing space. It is sliced and diced and wrapped into the technology that the film is talking about. The plot points too are not isolated. They are taken forward as they are discussed by different sets of people. There is a big sequence where Manush Nandan's camera moves in big circles as the characters' thoughts are racing, but even with the writing and the superb editing, the film is always moving in some sense. It never stops to highlight an emotion. Even the Mammootty and Mohanlal reunion is not celebrated exactly. It is acknowledged. Beyond the action fireworks, we get a sense of the respect and friendship these actors and their characters have for each other and how long they have come in their respective journeys, both as actors and as these characters. Without getting melodramatic, their scenes together make us feel very emotional. They are both fantastic, as is every single actor around them. Nayanthara, Rajiv Menon and Revati are particularly well cast. This is how you use stars as actors, and it is a pleasure to see older stars and new gen stars coming together in service of a very specific directorial vision. Certain aspects like Danny's alcoholism could have used more detailing, but I love the arc about a character's redemption. For instance, this man has an extramarital relationship. He also gets a scene with his family, but there is no attempt to deal with the wife's feelings because that belongs in a different movie, a different story. Patriot, that way, is ruthlessly single-minded. If this man regrets something at all within the context of this movie, it is not that he cheated on his wife, but that he did not support the lover, the extramarital lover, when she needed him the most. There are many small scenes that work beautifully, like the one between the characters played by Mohanlal and Indrans, and Sushin Shyam's fantastic score runs the gamut from jazz stylings to the more conventional cello passages for the more conventional sentimental passages, even if these scenes are not held for too long and never overstay their welcome. Like everything in this film, the music is just enough. The action scenes are not super showy, they are just enough. The messagey bit that even kids today have their own YouTube channels is just enough.
Is that similar to Periscope?
The talking heads that open the film and infuse a sense of urgency and realism, that's just enough. The technique is never repeated again. The film's running time is just enough. These 3 hours are needed to give us a sense of the scope of what's at stake, and there's not a single wasted moment of comedy or romance or even character building. Even the villain's villainy is just enough. We get the sense that this is not just a corporate villain archetype, but a dysfunctional human being with a misplaced sense of priorities. What Mahesh Narayanan has done with Patriot is to remind us that the 3 pillars of cinema are still writing, directing and editing, and when stars come on board, it's like icing on a cake. This is a welcome reminder at a time of glossy, empty star vehicles where the icing has become the cake. That's it about Patriot. If you like this video review, do subscribe to Galatta Plus and see you soon at the movies.
சத்யாவில் full moon sale காலை 9 மணியிலிருந்து இரவு 12 மணி வரை மே 1 ஒரு நாள் மட்டும்.
Plan your next summer escape with Grand Royal Tours.
சென்னை ஹீட்டா எஸ்கேப் பண்ணுங்க. சன்னை விட ஃபன் அதிகம். விஜிபி யூனிவர்சல் கிங்டம்க்கு வாங்க, ஃபன் பண்ணிட்டு போங்க.